Accessibility, inclusion, and equality are fundamental rights, human rights.
These cards will maximize inclusion and quality of life.
The right to move freely and reside within the EU is a cornerstone of European citizenship. But for many people with disabilities, while this is possible in theory, the reality is very different. So in this episode, we're in Ljubljana and Brussels to see how changes to the European disability and parking cards aim to dramatically improve freedom of movement and accessibility for people with disabilities. How will the new cards facilitate travel? Will they reduce inequality? And are there any bumps in the road? Welcome to Real Economy. Disability recognition across the EU. That's exactly what two new badges aim to do by providing proof of a person's disability anywhere in the bloc. The European Disability and Parking Cards grant visiting holders the same rights as local residents with disabilities in another member state. Primož was left almost fully paralysed from the waist down after a skiing accident at the age of 24. Today, the former Paralympian uses both cards thanks to a pilot project here in Slovenia.
Well, I'm a disabled person for about 16 years now, and it was difficult, especially traveling around Europe, to identify myself. Now, when I'm a holder of EU disability card, I can be easily recognized as a disabled person.
8 EU countries, including Slovenia, began piloting the cards in 2016. That success has now led Brussels to roll out the initiative across the rest of Europe. Once a provider like a gallery or museum signs up to the scheme, cardholders from other participating countries get the same rights.
Well, we try to make the gallery as accessible as possible. So not just free entrance for the people with disabilities, but also a personalized guided tours or a personalized creative workshops free of charge.
As well as free or discounted entry to culture and sports venues, holders of the European Disability Card can access transport services. To stop confusion and fraud, the European Parking Card for persons with disabilities is also being standardised with a common EU design. The NGO representing disability groups in Slovenia says their plan now is to expand the initiative and push for the two cards to become one.
We want to build awareness among the people with disabilities, and we want to attract more providers to the card. And lastly, we hope that someday the EU card and parking card will be combined in one.
Around 100 million people in the EU are estimated to have a disability. That equates to almost 27% of the bloc's population aged 16 and over. In Brussels, the hope is standardisation will facilitate travel and mobility. One civil society leader says the cards are a move in the right direction, but insists they don't address the issues faced by people with disabilities when moving to another EU country for more than 3 months.
The cards are the first step. They take away some obstacles when traveling. They make it easier. But they do not allow us to enjoy the right to move, to study, to work. Disability assessment needs to happen again. Our disability does not travel with us.
The disability card also aims to make a difference to the millions of Europeans who have an invisible disability. Peter has autism. In the past, the police have mistaken his disability for drunkenness. A big supporter of the card, he would like the initiative to be recognised by the emergency services.
We want also this card using by emergency service when you have in panic or stressful situation. You can use also this card when you are in contact with police, ambulance or hospital. You can prove his or her handicap to the doctors or the nurse in this situation.
Full implementation of the cards across the bloc could take another 3.5 years. To find out more, I spoke to EU Commissioner for Equality, Helena Dalli. Commissioner, thank you for speaking to Euronews. Tell us how these cards will improve life for people with disabilities in the EU.
Well, that is the essence of politics, I guess, improving the lives of people. And persons with disabilities are a group whereby we still need to do a lot because there is exclusion. We are speaking about 100 million people in the EU who have some kind of disability. So this card will go another step towards the integration of persons with disabilities in our societies.
These cards aim to increase accessibility, but do you accept that there are limitations?
Yes, what we have to look at is the fact that now with this card, any rights which a person with a disability has in one country will be available to all the persons with disabilities visiting that particular country. So this recognition is very, very, very important. Of course, we have to abide by the treaties, and we cannot go further than what we have done, because then it is member state competence. But it is definitely an improvement on what there is now.
It's taken an awfully long time to get here, quite a bit of time to implement. Why so long?
Well, actually, this is a directive which I am happy to say was one of the swiftest. I mean, I've never passed any legislation which went by so quickly. So that shows that member states are keen on this card, which is so important and which is going to improve so much the lives of people with disabilities.
And what about those already using the cards? Do they agree with the idea that it's an improvement?
Well, at the beginning, must say, I was afraid to show my disability card, but I was really surprised because this card is recognizable all around Europe. I'm traveling a lot, and I did use this card in Belgium, in Italy, Austria, Croatia, Germany, all around Europe, yeah.
Progress then towards a more inclusive Europe, even if true freedom of movement for those with a disability may take longer.